Right, today you have two old doors here you're going to work with. They need some sandblasting, some wire brushing, some paint stripping. They need it all, and some hammering. A lot of work on these doors, so take them down to bare metal and see what needs to be repaired on them. All right, well, when we get started, we'll see how far we can. So you get that started, that edge, get that all cleaned up in there. See rust here, so it's gonna have to come out and do some welding, fabrication there. All right, here I've got the paint stripping wheel put on here. So we'll give it a shot here on this door. All right, for this here door, as you can see, there's a lot of old rusty paint. Who knows what it's from, but I'm gonna use this paint stripping wheel, this door. See how that works on there. All right, I'm gonna safety up here with the mask and some goggles, and we'll let it fly for a little bit. I won't bore y'all with everything. Right, going to flip the door over and do the inside of it. So you can see here, talking about there's some rust holes and stuff on there. Looks like there's a lot of Bondo spots on the outside of it. We'll have to see if we can get those pulled out or beat out. But let's get some grinding started on this inside. Ran out of sand and disc. Well, I didn't run out, but the ones that I did have, the brand I did not like. They were the Harbor Freight. They seemed to just be burning, got the metal up super hot. Wound up burning my finger on touching the metal where it was grinding. But I'm gonna break out the sandblaster. We'll see if I can get some of these cleaned up a little bit better with it, and some of these tight crevices and stuff. That's pretty much what I got left anyways. I was able to get most of it off. So let me get set up on the sandblaster and we'll go from there. All right, have the sandblaster drug out here. You got safety gear. So we'll get doing some blasting here. Hopefully you can see okay. I'm not gonna try getting the camera all up in all that. It does get a lot of dust and sand. Okay, nice and dirty here. Let's take a look at this door. Pretty much got it sandblasted here, I think, on the crucial parts. I see a couple, always looking around, see a couple more spots, but we'll take and touch those up. I think I'll flip the door over and see if there's some spots there, and there are a couple spots I'll get on this side as well. So, and then I think we probably get into the metal shop. All right, I have lots of sand around here right now. Should be finished up here. Got door, most of it's pretty good there. So now just it's gonna have to go in the metal shop. You can see here we have rust. It's pretty common on these old doors here. So I'll have to see how much time, and just some old other spots. You can see where we had some soldering at some point, some bronze welding soldering at some point here on there, but you know, and some dents a couple places. So we'll get it in the metal shop and get some hammers out. Okay, in the welding shop here, we're working the bottom of the door here. You can see a lot of the pits rusted through here. So we're going to go in here, probably cut some of this out in here, put some new metal in. It's going to be a challenge, but we'll just work it slow and work at it. So all the way here, just to bore you, but I'll bring you in and out on this as I go through all this. All right, got one metal piece cut out on there, so there's some rust on the other side. So I'm gonna flip it off and take that look there and see how much needs to be cut out. I'm gonna leave some pieces in between here that are solid, so I can have some good solid pieces in between, and hopefully I can fix the other stuff in between somehow or another. All right, I'll bring you back. Alright, you see up inside there on there, so I have to build back quite a bit of metal here. Alright, start some fabrication. Okay, have a piece of metal back in here for support, so I'm going to try to do some tack welding in there and get that kind of stabilized, and then go back and do some of these other replace with some metal on that. And I'll probably close this up last so I can have some room to, as I work down here to the other end here, to kind of just get in there, and if I need to for clamping, or who knows, with vacuum cleaner, whatever. All right, welding up a couple spots there. Now we'll put in this plate and I'll get it set up and bring y'all back in. Okay, have a patch in here. Now we'll get the welder out here. I'll get a couple tacks on it, get it in place, and then I'll stitch it in as good as I can. I'm not a good welder, but a good grinder. What I'm doing here is I'm just going in and doing a tack weld every ½ inch to an inch just to hold the metal plate in place, and then we'll go back in and fill in between those welds bit by bit, try not to overheat that small piece of metal to tack it in. All right, kind of have it welded up here. Let's go on down here, get in and cut some of this metal out here. See, we're going to have to do some grinding, but anticipated that because not a very good welder. Still working on it. Okay, see, I have the couple holes here. Get some metal here will get cut up and the hole matched up, and stitch it in as best I can. All right, I'll bring you back in a little bit. It's in place there, and now we'll stitch it in. Alright, have some grinding on here. I'm going to do some more grinding, but I'm going to flip it over to the face side. As I grind, I'm seeing spots that didn't get welded. I guess I was getting tired or dark or whatever, but we'll get that. No big rush here. But, you can see here's the outside weld spots. You can see the outside weld spots that I have here. A few spots up in there. You can grind those out and see how well I did, and whether or not I know I have to do some more on the back side, but on the outside skin we'll see how that's looking. Most holes I've tried to plug up The welds popped out of them, so I'm gonna have to go do that. But I've got a couple spots here. There's a crack, fatigue, and a little bracket back in here that needs weld. And then while I'm doing that, I'll go around and touch up any places that then needs a little extra spark. All right, won't bore y'all with that. Have the holes patched up, have them ground down. Need to probably put a straight edge on here. May have to do a little bit more grinding at some point on here, but and a little bit more touch up. But this is where we're at right now on this door. So I'm gonna be ready to try popping out some of these dents, hopefully, or not, and then we'll go from there. All right, I think probably see about cleaning it up, put some, maybe a touch of rust protection, clean it up. I need to vacuum and air out the other side, but I need to clean up the shop here. Kind of messy. See all that grinding dust? Okay, have pretty much the door welded up here on everything. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some rust inhibitor, and I'm going to put on the inside of it, kind of try coating the inside where it gets rough, where moisture accumulates on there. And then what we'll do here is we'll take the DA sander. I'm going to do a good fine sanding and clean it up, and probably put some rust inhibitor on there to get that ready, and then so we can get to the next step, which would be bondoing it and just cleaning it up some more. Right here, I'm going to dump some of this stuff in here. Hopefully get it spread out. All right, I'm going to get a can of spray enhance. They have a tube of this rust stuff that's in a can with a tube on there, so you can get in the tight spot channel spray. We'll do that on the rest of the doors too, on the inside, so I can get a better coating. But hopefully that gets a good heavy coat on the bottom there, at least gets that process started. I'll get a flashlight and take a look. All right, that's all I'm going to do right now on this one. All right, what I'm using is some 80 grit sandpaper. I'm just going to knock a little bit of the other rust and kind of get a prep for putting that rust inhibitor on there. Alright, I'm going to clean these up too. Okay, have some, I guess this Eastwood rust control stuff going to put on there. It says it needs about 2 coats on there. Not a sponsor or anything, just been pretty happy with their products on an old rusty truck so far. So go ahead and coat this with that. I'm going to use a roller here and a paint brush. So you say why a roller, not spray gun? Well, it comes in a squirt bottle and you just squirt it on and roll it on. The roller seems to be working pretty good here. Good coverage. Flip it over in a few minutes and do the other, clean the other side up. Do that and I'll do 2 coats. I think that says about 15 minutes dry time or in between, and then let it set for 48 hours or longer. That's about all we're going to do for today, so be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you for chucking around.